students, welcome to online sessions class 8 science. In today's video, we will start with the chapter number 1 of standard 8 science, that is the living world and classification of microbes. So students, to study this chapter, we have to recall here some previous knowledge. We know that Earth is only planet where life is exist, and we also know that there are vast number of living organisms are present around us, are present on the earth. According to the census of 2011, there are 87 millions of living organisms are found on earth, including oceans and seas. So friends, to study the characteristics of all that living organism, it is necessary to classify them, and such classification of living organism is known as the biological classification. So many scientists are worked upon the classification of living organism. So the question arises that who classified the living organism, how they are classified the living organism, and why it is necessary to classify the living organism. In this video, we are going to learn about these things. So some questions are there in your textbook. First we will see these questions. Question number 1 is, what is the hierarchy for the classification of living organism? What is the hierarchy? We will see the meaning of word hierarchy. What is hierarchy? Suppose, let's take here example. I live in a Kolhapur city. How Kolhapur can be identified on the earth? All the living organisms are living on the earth. So first comes earth, then come continent Asia, then come country India, state Maharashtra, district Kolhapur, and city Kolhapur, and the specific area of Kolhapur. So such method of identification anything that is known as the hierarchy. So the classification hierarchy for the classification of that living organism is kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. So answer of the question is, the hierarchy for the classification of living organism is kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and last comes species. Now let's take here example of human beings. We are the animals, humans. Okay, so how human classified according to the method of hierarchy? The kingdom of human is Animalia, phylum is Chordata, then class is Mammalia, order is primates, family Hominidae, then genus Homo, and species Sapien. So every living organisms are classified according to hierarchy in these ways. This is example of humans. Okay. Now come to the second question, that is, who invented the binomial nomenclature system? Who invented the binomial nomenclature system? Let us see first what is binomial nomenclature. Now again we will take here example of fruit mango. We know mango very well. So the mango is the name of fruit in English language. In Hindi it called aam. In Marathi it called amba. So according to language to language, the name is getting changed, but the scientific name of any living organism is worldwide accepted and it never changes. For example, the scientific name of mango is Mangifera indica. What is the scientific name? It is Mangifera indica. Okay, so in this way, this name of mango, Mangifera indica, it tells us that the Mangifera is the name of genus and indica is the name of species. So in this way, each living organism having their scientific names. For example, here mango, their scientific name is called as a Mangifera indica. And such naming system or such nomenclature system is called as a binomial nomenclature. And this binomial nomenclature invented first by the scientist Carl Linnaeus. Carl Linnaeus. Okay, so this scientist Carl Linnaeus invented the binomial nomenclature system. Now come to the next last question. It is, which levels of hierarchy considered to write the binomial nomenclatures? Which levels of hierarchy are considered for the binomial nomenclature? We have seen the example of mango here. So here genus and species. Last two levels, genus and species, these are considered for the nomenclature or binomial nomenclature of any living organism. So answer will be what? The hierarchy, levels of hierarchy for the binomial nomenclature are genus and. Now, as I told, many scientists work upon the classification of living organisms. Some of that are here. First is Carl Linnaeus. He divides all the living organisms into two groups. These are Vegetabilia and Animalia. He puts all the plants into the group Vegetabilia, where all the animal into the group Animalia. Then comes Haeckel. The scientist Haeckel, he divides all the living organisms into three groups. These are Protista, plants and animals. Microorganisms, Haeckel puts into the group Protista, where plants into plants and animal into the animal. Then comes Chapter. The scientist Chapter, he divides all the living organisms into two major groups. These are prokaryotes and eukaryotes. So what are prokaryotes and eukaryotes here? The organisms which are not having developed cells. Means some cell organelles like nuclear membrane are absent into the prokaryotic organisms. So this type of organisms are put into the prokaryotes group, where in eukaryotes he put the organisms which are having developed cells with all the cell organelles. So in this way he grouped the prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Then comes Copeland. The scientist Copeland, he divides living organisms into four groups. These are Monera, Protista, plants and animals. Here the Monera and Protista, the unicellular microorganisms or which are not having developed cells, he put it into Monera. Developed cell but unicellular organisms, unicellular microorganisms, he put it into Protista group, and large plants into plants and large animals into the animals. So in this way these scientists are work for the classification of microbes, classification of living organisms. Then in 1969, the Robert Whittaker, an American ecologist, he invented the five kingdom system. So this five kingdom system is worldwide accepted till today, and now we are going to learn about the five kingdom system invented by the scientist R.H. Whittaker. So R.H. Whittaker, that is Robert Whittaker, he was an American ecologist. R.H. Whittaker. In 1969 invented the five kingdom system. Five kingdom system for the classification of living organisms. So he considered a specific criteria to classify the living organisms. The criteria which is used by this R.H. Whittaker, let us see first. First of that is complexity of cell structure. Then comes complexity of organism. Then he considered third is that mode of nutrition. Then fourth criteria is life cycle or a lifestyle of living organism. And last he considered the phylogenetic relationship. considered by R.H. Whitaker for classification of organisms or to invent the five kingdom system. So according to him, the complexity of cell structure, then organism and the mode of nutrition of living organisms, and lifestyle and phylogenetic relationship. Let us see about this criteria or how he classified living organisms according to this criteria. So first he divides, according to cell structure, he divides all the living organisms into two groups. These are prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Now, as we see, prokaryotes, the animals which are not having developed cells, or some cell organelles are absent into the prokaryotes, and another, the animals which are having developed cells with all cell organelles. So in this way, according to the complexity of cell structure, Whitaker forms two groups. These are prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Then again, according to the complexity of organisms, he divides all the organisms into unicellular and multicellular. Okay, unicellular and multicellular. Again, come to the next. Let us see first five kingdoms invented by Whitaker. Okay, so he puts or he divides into prokaryotes, eukaryotes, and then first kingdom is prokaryotic unicellular organisms. He put it into the first kingdom, that is kingdom Monera. Means the organisms which are having prokaryotic and which are having single cell. He put it into this kingdom, that is first kingdom, kingdom Monera. Then again he divides eukaryotes into the two, eukaryotic unicellular, eukaryotic multicellular organisms. So first eukaryotic unicellular organisms are put it into second kingdom, that is kingdom, just see here, I use initial for kingdom K, kingdom. Next is Protista. Kingdom Protista. Then eukaryotic multicellular organisms. He divides this group into the three, and first of that is eukaryotic multicellular. In that first kingdom means third kingdom is kingdom fungi. Then eukaryotic multicellular second kingdom, that is fourth kingdom Plantae, and eukaryotic multicellular, that is kingdom fifth, that is kingdom Animalia. Okay, kingdom Animalia. So in this way, whole living organisms divides into five groups. First is kingdom Monera, Protista, and remaining these three kingdoms are eukaryotic multicellular. This is according to the mode of nutrition. So fungi, these are depends upon the dead material, dead animal material. These are put into this group, kingdom fungi. Then come Plantae. According to again mode of nutrition, plants are those living organisms which make their own food, and they called autotrophs, make their own food. And he put it next Animalia, animals which are consumers. Means according to mode of nutrition, animals are depends upon another living or non-living things to get their food. So third criteria used by Whitaker is the mode of nutrition. He used for formation of these three kingdoms. That, and next comes lifestyle. So fungi, as they are depends upon dead material, they are called as a decomposer. They are decomposer. Then plants make their own food. So lifestyle of this kingdom animals are producer. And last Animalia, they are depends upon another living or non-living, so they are consumers. And last it is phylogenetic relationship. So what is phylogenetic relationship? The criteria, last criteria used by Whittaker. So phylogenetic relationship, according to the theory of evolution, the animals or all the living organisms are developed their cells to survive on the earth, in any condition. So in this way, prokaryotic organisms become eukaryotic organisms. Some of unicellular, they become multicellular organisms. So such relationship is prokaryote to the eukaryote, unicellular to the multicellular, and in this way, as we know, life on the earth exists by single cell only. Such relationship between living organism is called as a phylogenetic relationship. So this is about the five kingdom system invented by Robert Whittaker in 1969. So in the next video, we will learn more about the classification of microbes. Till then, thank you.